Today's in-depth training topic, we're going to be talking about progress billing. Progress billing is a feature of the system that allows you to bill a job before it actually reaches the sales status. This can be useful for jobs that either are going to be running very long periods over the course of several months, or jobs that are very expensive and you want to be able to bill the customer throughout the process of the job while it's being produced. To turn this feature on, what we need to do is we need to go to Setup, System Setup. On the left side, if we go to Orders, Estimates, and Service Tickets, there's an option under there for Order Options. Once I select Order Options, I can go ahead and edit the screen. And there is a box in the middle that states Progress Billing. All I need to do is check the box here for Allow Progress Billing. What that's going to do is that's going to allow a percent complete box to show up on the order screen, which I can then use to set the billing amounts on orders that I want to be able to be progress billed. There's also an option under here that says automatically move out of WIP when all line items are 100. What that does is after all the line items have been marked as 100% complete, the job will automatically move out of the WIP status and into either the build or sale depending on the statuses that you were using in the system. So once I have my progress billing checked, I want to go ahead and save this. And now I'm going to go ahead and open up one of the orders I want to use to track the progress billing with. Once I get to the order, the very first thing that you should notice is that there is a brand new tab that says Percent Complete. This is the tab that will control the progress billing for this order. So once I edit this job and go to this tab, the very first thing that you should see is at the top of the box, there is a checkbox that says Use Progress Billing on this order. That is the option that we'll use that you can check to determine whether this order is going to be progress billed. For the most part, what will happen is if you don't check this box, all the orders will still be invoiced and billed as they normally are. So this option is only used for orders that you tell it to be able to be progress billed. Once I check that option, what I get is some slider boxes for each line item. This is where I tell the system how much of that particular item is done. There is a slider box for the entire order, and there's also one for each individual line. By default, there's a checkbox next to each of the line items that says Use Default. What that does is, as I slide the orders percent complete, all the line items under it will change accordingly. So as I change my percent complete for the order, all the line items will change on their own, and I won't be able to update them as long as this box is checked. If I go and uncheck the box for each of these items, the slider box becomes active, and I can now control it for each of the line items. Also, for child line items, if I leave the Use Default box checked, the child would default to its parent item's percent complete rather than defaulting to the order percent complete. But now that I have the Use Default unchecked, I can go through and slide each of these boxes for each of the line items specifically. Once I do that, I can then go and save the order. And now I can proceed. If I go take a look at the activities for this job, the most recent activity is going to be the edit that we just made. What this activity will display is it will display the sales for the line items that we just changed. So what happens when you set the progress billing for each of the line items, the sales income for each of those items will be tracked at the point in time whenever you make that edit. Also, the accounts receivable for the order will also be affected because you're saying that you want to bill the job for these particular items and the percentage that they're complete. So the GL changes will be made for you in the background when you use the progress billing amounts within the system. When you're actually ready to send the invoice to the customer, you can go to the right side and go to Print and Standard Invoice. Once I select that, there should be a checkbox option that you normally don't use. There is a checkbox that says Show Progressive. With this box checked, if I go and preview the invoice, what will happen is each of the line items will now reflect the percent complete that they are. So I see my first item is 25% complete, so the amount due for this particular invoice is $40.35. Same thing for line 2. Since it is 75% complete, out of the $128 that the item is worth, $96.23 is due on this invoice. So it goes through and looks at all the percent complete on all the items on the order and will total them up for you. So at the total section, I have on the right side, I have the partial bill. So I have what's actually due on this particular invoice. So I have the $136.59, which is the sum of the percent completes that are due on this particular invoice. Whereas the left side will reflect the overall total of what's due on this order, what the balance is, what's been paid. All those numbers will be reflected on the left side. So now I have the ability to send the customer their progress bill invoice with the percent complete based off of what I want to bill that customer at this point in time. And that is actually it for sending out the invoice to the customer for their progress billing. There's also a few other reports that you can run in the system that will reflect the percent complete changes that we just added. If we go to Reports, WIP and Bills, and WIP Reports, and we run any of the WIP reports, the items that are percent complete will be reflected on the WIP report. So I can see here, order 1146 is considered 50% completed. Line 1010 is 51% completed. So the percent complete that's specified on the overall order is going to be reflected on my WIP report here as well. Lastly, if I go to Reports, Customers and Receivables, AR Reports, I make sure my AR is based on GL. What will happen then is on my AR summary reports, all the orders that are in WIP that have progress bill amounts are going to be reflected on my WIP report. So I can see here that I have these orders that are currently still in WIP because there is no sale date are being shown on my AR report because these orders are all progress billed. One thing with progress bill orders is there is no age category for it to put the report in because depending on what the percent complete is, the system doesn't always know when an order percentage was changed. So what it's going to do is it's going to reflect the balance due overall for those particular orders, but it's not going to throw them in an age category for them to be tracked under. But the report will still reflect what is overall due to you for all of the orders that are currently being progress billed. And that is essentially the introduction to how progress billing works for you to be able to send out multiple invoices to your customers while an order is still being produced and in the WIP status. What will happen is at the end of this order, once I mark it a sale, the remaining value that hasn't been billed yet will go ahead and move to the income and to the accounts receivable status. So the order will always be correct in terms of whenever you're going into it and marking the percent complete or whenever you go through and bill the particular invoice when it needs to be billed. All right. Thank you everyone for coming today. This is this week's In the Call, and y'all have a great day now.